This is Between Hooksets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the fishing crew.
Ain't no way you're going to F up my...
Hey, I wanted you to have something to set the hook for. I thought...
No. I know how to set the hook. I caught catfish last weekend.
Well, I know. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure, like, you watch the videos, the guy tapping the back of their rod.
You wanted me to hit myself in the mouth and get a fat lip and talk like a doofus the rest of the night. That's
going to make. Is that going to make it?
You're telling me I'm a doofus without having to get hit in the mouth?
No.
Anywho, yeah. I've honestly been kind of excited to have these three guys on.
Yeah.
For the last couple of weeks, knowing that they were going to join us. So, without further ado, I guess I better find my my tools and get going here. So Riley and Braeden Full and Brock Nothem are on the show tonight because they are the Lake Area Walleye Club champions. They were out here on Lake Oahe getting things done, and we're going to get the story. So, fellas, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. So, Kurt and I were talking about podcasts and the fact that, we really need to get to know our guests in the beginning a little bit more. So, honestly, you guys are young. There's not a lot of stuff out there. So, where did you go to kindergarten?
Kindergarten, huh? Canby, Minnesota.
Where?
Same here.
Canby, Minnesota.
Okay, Canby. All right.
Yeah.
All three of us went there.
Okay. All right. So, did you guys go to high school there then? Is that the deal? You grew up there?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, I didn't know there was a Canby connection. I'm glad I asked about kindergarten then, because we just got right to the point there, right? I mean, nothing like it. So, I guess, how old are you guys? Sorry, got to ask, but I know you're older than 18.
Yeah, I'm 30.
No
29.
shit.
Yeah.
Really?
I get that a lot.
27.
Yeah. So you guys, you look like you're 7, 8 years older than 17, 18, and 19. So, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. Yeah. What the heck?
So you guys all grew up in Canby, Minnesota, and started fishing together at a young age, or come together at a later point in life? How did you guys get to know each other and start fishing together?
Yeah, good question. So, like I said, we went to high school together. We've been, fishing forever. And last year was actually my brother and I's first time fishing the Lake Area Walleye Club together. And then this year, Brock moved to Watertown and asked if he could join and fish with us. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. So
do you guys all live in Watertown now then?
Me and Brock do, yeah. Braeden
I do not. I live in Wabasso, Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Wabasso. Why Wabasso?
My girlfriend lives here, and she has a job here, and I have a job here, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I got a text from a guy that said that you guys fish the Canby High School Walleye team. I didn't know that Canby had a high school walleye team. So that's where you got your start. Didn't want to tell anybody that secret, did you?
Yeah, they don't need to know about that.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, well, you can't give everybody. Great to see you, bro.
Captain Crawdaddy, Scott Glanzer says, "Great to see you, bro."
He's sure a joy to have in the snow bear.
He's sure a joy to have a neighbor down the block.
Yeah. I bet.
So, Brock, you've been guiding. I guess I don't know. We met when you were working with Stroman a few years ago, and I think maybe it was just a quick. I had my little tiny cabin next to Stroman's camper.
Yep.
I think you were there one day with Jeff and Tanner and some of those guys. I believe. So. Are you still doing the guiding thing, or aren't you doing it anymore?
No. Once in a while, I'll do like just somebody calls, do a weekend thing. But I was with Stroman for 3.5 years, and then went to work for a big boy job. I had a kid, so have something a little more sustainable. So
isn't it fun adulting?
Oh yeah, it's a joy.
Yeah, I mean, having a kid's great, and it's tough when they're little. When they get older, mine's 18. I wish he was 28, but then again, so having a kid, I think it's really for a guy. I didn't want to be married. I did not want to have a kid. I've got my other kid here, and you know, it's so cool. Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah, it's so fun to watch him grow up, especially just, you know, he's not even 2 years old yet, but he's just learning so much, and just it's amazing how much they advance in a short period of time.
Wait until he gets his own personality, which he's obviously got a personality too, right? But then they start thinking for themselves at like 2.5 or 3 and 4, and then you get to 5, 6, 7, and then by the time they're 12, they don't know. I mean, they know everything. You don't know crap.
Yeah.
It's fun. So, you know, just be ready for it.
So you guys, you said you and your brother fished first time together last year in the Lake Erie Walleye Club.
Yeah, last year was our first year fishing it. Brock has fished it in the past. I don't remember how many years ago that was, Brock.
I think it was three or four years ago. I fished it with a Josh Hansen.
So you guys, Braeden and Riley, you guys got into it. Did you guys ever fish any tournaments before you got into Lake Erie Walleye Club, or is that kind of your first putting your toe in the water?
I would say that was probably kind of the start of it. I mean, we had done some like smaller tournaments, nothing large, just smaller, like local tournaments. So
you guys get in 2 years ago. Do we have any success? Do we stumble?
It was definitely a learning thing for us. I mean, we fished all the lakes before that we fished for league, but just fishing them for a tournament rather than fun fishing is completely different. So our first year, we did not make the championship, which kind of sucked, and we were bummed about that. And then this year, when they announced that it was going to be on Lake Oahe, we're like, the whole year we're like just grinding, knowing that we want to fish out there because we enjoy fishing out there. So
you guys get in it. So for people that are watching that might not know what Lake Erie Walleye Club is, can you give us a little rundown of what Lake Erie Walleye Trail Club is?
Brock or Braeden?
Lake Erie Walleye Club is based out of Madison, South Dakota, and we fish 5 regular season events throughout the late May through June. And then we have a championship that qualifies like 28 to 30 boats based on points and other tournaments throughout the year. So if you qualify for the championship, it's entries paid through the year, and then you get to go fish the championship.
So you also, it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, right? I mean,
Wednesday night.
Wednesday
nights. Yeah. So it's a Wednesday night deal, but you guys draw like 60 boats to each event. It's kind of
pretty big.
It's a pretty big deal. So
yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
So you guys fish. Did you win any? So you really, first year you stumbled. Coming to this year, you guys all 3 team up. Did we start rocking it, or what?
No, yeah, we started on the right foot right away.
The first event we did really well. We placed 3rd at Dry Lake number 2, so we got our hopes high right away. And we're like, heck yeah, some good points to make it to the championship, but we still knew we had to, place well in the next 4 events to keep going. So I don't know, it was a fun start. It was a really fun start. So
yeah, then next event was Big Stone, and that one, I mean, we had a good pre-fish going into Big Stone. Like, we were consistently having, good nights. And then like the day of the tournament, the weather completely changed, and we all know how that goes. It was not good, to say the least. So we did not do well out there. I don't remember what place we got out there, but it wasn't good.
Did anybody do well?
It was overall tough. I mean, out of 60 boats or whatever it is, there's going to be guys that stumble upon them or get them, So, but there is only a handful of guys that did okay at best, I would say.
Okay, how about the other 3 lakes then?
Yeah, next one was Lake Thompson. That was a fun lake. We did not fill out our 5 fish, but we were kind of in scramble mode during the actual tournament. We knew where fish were, but getting them to bite was tricky because, once again, the weather kind of changed, and I don't know if there was a bug hatch that happened or what, but the fish definitely got tight-lipped. But anyway, we were out in the middle of the lake, and we stop in the most random spot and put the trolling motor down. And Brock goes, "There's one right there," and he tosses. I think he was using a finisher or something. tosses it like back behind the boat because we're still moving pretty decently quick. And he goes, got it. I look over, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this has to be a pike. He gets it up and it's like a 27, 28 incher. And it was like, I don't remember what it weighed, but
7 pounds.
that was definitely like a step up from the week before the event before for sure.
So how do we end up that night?
What did we
11th.
11th or 13th, something like that.
I think it was 11th.
11th that night.
Yeah.
Without having your all 5 fish to
We
weigh?
only had 3 fish. Yeah.
What I think we had 13 pounds, I think, with 3 fish.
Well, a 7-pounder on Lake Thompson is a unicorn.
Yeah.
So how about Lake Thorn 5?
Braeden?
Ponset would have been our next one.
Ooh, that makes tough.
My brother and I, we fished the celebrity tournament the weekend before that, where they do the golf and the fishing or whatever.
Yep.
And we fished it with our dad. We did really well. We took, what was it, really 6th place in that.
6th place, yeah.
And so we thought, I mean, it was a good excuse to pre-fish for league. So we fished it, and league came around, and it was windier than all get out there.
Yeah, and our program that we had figured out completely changed. Like that pattern was like non-existent, and regardless of where we went on the lake, it just wasn't working. And so we tried something completely different, and that was the day of right before we were going to take off. We went and tried something, and Braeden caught like an 18 or a 19 incher right away, and there was all kinds of fish in the spot. We're like, this is perfect, like we're going to be set up well here. And we go to that spot right away and fish that same shoreline all night. And I think we caught like 1 or 2 fish that we weighed in. It was brutal.
So far I haven't, other than the first event, I haven't heard in Lake Thompson. the pattern isn't very good. Good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah. Kind of follows the Wettern pattern that we had all year.
So it was the 5th lake then?
Brock?
Bitter.
Bitter. Okay. Well, so it was bitter better to you then? Oh, wait a minute. Say that. Bitty, better, bit about a bit, bitter, better. Okay.
So bitter, we had a program together, but we knew that we just needed 5 fish to qualify for the championship. So we went and we had a few spots. Went to the first spot, didn't catch nothing. So we went to the second spot, and by that time we had wasted, I don't know, an hour and a half. So we were kind of in panic mode. So we went and we did end up catching our 5 slot fish, and then we went out and tried to catch our big fish, but null and void. I think they got sore lipped throughout the week prior to it. So
Yeah.
It happens.
I don't know. I think we got like 20
30,
fish.
we got 30th on that one.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we get the 5 lake story. You guys kind of went into this thing with the Cinderella story then, because you I mean, the odds weren't in your favor, right? Because did you just barely make the championship? What position did you enter going into?
So they take the top, like Brock said, this year, I think it was like the top 23 teams or whatever it was. And we finished in 13th for team of the year.
Okay. So you were in the middle of the pile. So
yeah,
you had a chance.
Yeah.
And then to come out day one, I was pumped when Louis said that you guys were going to be there, and I was actually going to be there that weekend. Now I guess I'm there every weekend, which is great. But anyway, I was really pumped to watch you guys weigh in and watch that whole thing, because I fished one years ago with Dustin Sheldon and Chris Bisgard, because they needed a third guy, and it was a shit show for me, because I'm a Zebco guy, right? And then they hand me this spinning combo with a crank over here on this side, and it was just bad. But anyway, so I got a chance to do it, so I was really pumped to see who ended up winning. I was rooting for Tanner Thompson, Mode, and Brady Will, and Mitch Loban, and some of those guys. I had Seth Lubers, and then all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, hold the phone. Brock, I knew. And then I'm like, who are these Full brothers? What in the world? And then some guy standing to me said, that Riley Full's a stick, dude. These guys can. let's see what they can do tomorrow. So you had a 13-pounder day one, and you had the 14.
So before we get into that, do you guys spend a lot of time in the Whitlocks area, or is that?
I would say a fair amount of time. We had went out the weekend before the championship to pre-fish on Saturday and Sunday, and then we came back out. We only pre-fished one day before. We had a decent program going. We knew where the big fish were holding. We going back, actually, we had fished. Brock and I had fished the AFCO tournament. Like, I don't remember if that was 3 or 4 weeks ago, but we definitely knew where the big fish were at. So we kind of spent a lot of time in those areas. And yeah, I mean, I guess it just worked out.
Yeah, well, you obviously, it was your day to lead day one, and it was day two was your time to win the tournament. Did everything go right? We hear a lot of people say we couldn't do anything wrong. Everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like the fish came in the perfect order. It was perfect. Besides, I mean, not getting a lot of bites, everything came in the right order. I mean, both days, I think we only caught like 6 or 8 walleyes total. So, I mean, we didn't have to sort or anything. We only caught 2 overs each day. So, yeah.
So how many fish are you allowed to catch, and how many you get to weigh in?
So, Braeden or Brock, go ahead.
Everybody can keep their legal limit, but we're only allowed to weigh in 5 fish.
So you can have 3 overs in the boat if need be. You can have all that.
Okay. Well, so here's a quick photo of I think this is day.
That was day 2.
That's day 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then there was this on Facebook too, because I don't know which pictures to pull, so I'm gonna grab all these photos. That's a pile of awesome fish. Now, obviously, Lake Oahe has a pile of awesome fish, but you still have to go out and catch them.
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
that's one tricky thing to get those things to bite. And I mean, everybody that's fished out there knows that it's definitely not easy.
Yeah,
the live scope doesn't automatically put them in your boat, right?
No, I mean, some people might think that, but that is most certainly not the case.
So you guys go out there, you guys put a program together the weekend before, check it the day before the tournament. Going out, were you like only one to your spot? Kind of go through your day with us on day one.
Yeah, so actually the day before we took off, we were only fishing for overs because we were in scramble mode. Yeah, unders. Sorry, we were only fishing for unders because we were in scramble mode. We had nothing going for unders. We couldn't catch them anywhere. We knew, like I said, we knew we could get our overs, but getting the unders were extremely tricky for us, at least. But then day one, we made like probably a 15 to 20 mile run, I would say. And the first fish on day one was the 13-pounder, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the next fish was what?
11.
Yeah, I think
11,
it was 10. And then we had completely left that area and went down kind of by takeoff. Actually, no, we did not. We hit points on the way back because the day before we started to figure out something later in the day on points, and there was a storm that rolled through that night, and I think that shallow bite completely flipped, or at least it did for us, because what we had, or what we thought we had working the day before, did not work on the first day of the tournament. So then again, we had our 2 overs, which we kind of knew that we would get. We just didn't know how big they would be. And then going for the unders, it was like scramble mode the rest of the day. I think first day we had both of our overs by
10 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 or 11 o'clock. So we had them relatively early.
First one didn't come till 9:30, and the second one came at 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like the big ones want to just kind of shut off like at 10:30. It's almost like they're done.
I would agree with that. There's definitely bite windows. I mean, that's most certainly a thing. And yeah, I would say right around that time it shuts off, but then there might be one that opens back up like around the noon hour, in between 12 and 1 probably. but we weren't fishing for overs then, so I guess we wouldn't really know, but that's just what we've experienced in the past.
So I got one thing I've learned so far in this podcast, that you guys are not allowed to fish any of my tournaments because the weather goes to shit when you guys go to a tournament, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That
That was the case for almost most of them this year, except for when Braeden and I did the MWC out of Mobridge. We actually had really good weather for that, so that
So
was
So Brock is what you're saying.
yeah, it's all Brock's fault.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, please come fish the Fish Crew events. I'm just kidding on that. But every story, every term you had, well, the weather flipped or the weather was crap. Or
There's excuses. There's excuses for everything.
yeah,
there
It
is,
is.
no matter what. But seriously though, the weather does play into it a ton. I mean, it does, and I wonder sometimes too, because I'm a big pressure guy. Whatever. I'm a dork that way. But I wonder if weather has anything to do with anything when you're fishing in 100 feet of water. I just don't know that the fish really don't understand, right?
That's a good question, and I wish we could come up with an answer for that.
Well, I will tell you this from my little bit of actually fishing out here in Oahe. I live here, live right in the lake, do mostly tournaments. I don't fish that much, but I will tell you, oddly enough, lightning shuts this lake down.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes.
And it's weird. You wouldn't think that with as deep as it gets, but Lake Oahe, if you get lightning, good luck. Like it makes it tough.
Guys, didn't we have lightning the night? Yeah, we did. At like
Thursday
3:30,
night.
there's that storm that came through with thunder and lightning.
Yeah,
And that was Thursday night.
That was Thursday night for the tournament. Yes.
Yeah.
This makes it like for some reason you wouldn't think with as deep as the lake is and as big as the lake is, but you see like lightning really affects these fish out here. It's crazy. So you guys not really fishing many tournaments. You go in leading day one. What was it like after you knew you lead in the thing? You're going to have a cocktail dinner. What's it like? What are you talking about? What are you thinking? And did we sleep?
Yeah. So, we had everybody asking us, can you duplicate that? Can you duplicate that? I mean, the answer was simple. Like, we weren't going to put up 29 pounds again. Like, that was like unreal. Like, we're like, we'll be happy if we get somewhere in the low to mid 20s. Like, then we know we will have a decent shot. But then day two comes around and we almost duplicate it. And we're just grinning ear to ear in the boat the whole time. And I don't know, it just, everything worked out perfect.
Well, I mean, so what was the night like? What were you thinking? What was the conversations in the cabin? What was going on there? Like, you guys know you don't think you can duplicate it, but what's going on? Get more into it.
Basically, it was one thing that we were all in talks about, and that was just staying focused, and not letting. We knew we had a decent lead, and if we just kept our heads down and stay focused, we would give ourselves a chance. And what I mean by that was not getting frustrated if we missed a fish or you were off on a cast or if you got tangled up or whatever it may be. Just keeping a positive attitude the whole time in the boat really was like the main thing.
So day one, were you fishing by yourself? Did you have the spot to yourself, or were there other tournament boats around you?
There was a well, the first spot there was not a single boat around us.
That's true.
And then the second spot that we went to, there was probably 2 or 3 other boats in that general area.
Day two, did you have pressure?
Same thing. We went to that spot that we had caught the fish the day before right away, and there was the same 2 or 3 boats there. So,
But there was some couple other guys that came in there, whether they were just local fishing or whatever.
right, because that was Saturday. So yeah, there's just
Well,
But there was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 boats on that spot. But
it's super weird to go out and fish Lake Oahe and watch people fishing in the middle of the river. I think I started coming out here in 97 or 98. Not a big deal, but I've been out fishing a long time or been out here for a long time. And everybody's always along the shores, right? They're all on the points. They're on the inside turns. And all of a sudden, you got a ton of people in the middle of the river. figuring it out. It's so weird to see people out in the middle of the river, but it's a thing, man. It's a
so
thing.
We have a question. I think we already kind of answered. Were you trolling or were you jigging the trees yet?
We were not trolling.
jigging the trees.
We were jigging the trees for our overs. And day one, we had caught a couple unders up on points casting. And then day two, all of our fish came off of trees, just completely different areas of the system. So I would say 75 to 90% of the time we were fishing trees.
It's hard not to, because there are a ton of trees. I think there are a lot more trees than any of us knew, right? Because now that we're looking for them, we find them. And then the variety of trees, and you get into some of the areas where the trees are only about 20 feet tall, and they're more brushy, bushy, and they just hold a ton of bait fish. There's just bait ball after bait ball, and the marks are astounding. And so that's the crazy thing, how all of these different sections of the river fish differently when you're on the trees, because they don't all fish exactly the same. It's just weird.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I mean, there's definitely certain trees that you're looking for when you're fishing the trees, and then there's trees that probably are not going to hold as many fish as other ones will.
So day two, do you go to your first big fish spot where you dinged your big fish, or how are we doing day two when we take off?
We went to the same spot that we had caught those two big fish the day before. And like I said, we had like 8 boats in that area. So we bounced out of there and went to our other spot that we had for holding big fish that we stopped at on day one that we didn't catch nothing. And the first fish of the day was 14 pounds. So we were like,
yeah. So it was a heavy 14, right?
So
14.6.
You're leading the thing with 29 pounds. First fish in the boat's 14. What do we like then? Like what? Give me the emotion of the boat.
There was high fives, maybe a little yelling going on, and so on and so forth. But in the back of my mind, I told these guys, I said, even though that we got this one fish, we still don't have this one. We have to stay focused, and we still have fish to catch. So, basically, it was a quick celebration, and it was back to the grind.
Yeah,
so
the pressure, have your blinders on.
The pressure wasn't off at that point. Like you didn't just go catch 4 fish. Who cares what size they are? We're going to win the thing.
When the next fish was the 10-pounder, then we knew we had around 24 pounds. So we're like, well, at that point we had 1 under in the boat too, and I think it was only like 1.5 pounds maybe. So at that point we kind of knew that somebody's going to need like 30 plus pounds to overtake us, and that's possible, right? Anything's possible out there, but we had a really good feeling when we left that spot and went and looked for the rest of our unders.
So the 19s out here, I want to say out there, I keep forgetting I'm here. The 19s are phenomenally large, and honestly, I'm finding out the 18s aren't bad either.
No.
Yeah, we had one during the MWC that we caught that was like 19 and 7/8, and that was like 303.
Yeah. I say 19s in the Gov Cup. A lot of them are pushing 3 pounds.
Yeah, they're just
awesome. they're just footballs. So, another question here: does color matter, or just get it in front of them?
I think a lot of people are going to have different opinions on that. I personally think color does not matter, and I think it's more of a cadence thing, or however you're working your bait, so to speak. I've caught big fish and small fish on several different colors, and I've never found one to be, I guess, more productive than other. So, but like I said, there is guys out there that definitely say that color matters, and I think that those guys that are saying that are maybe working the bait a little bit differently than what we are. So
my dad always used to say, you think when we pull crank slot, he says, you think a walleye sitting there and going, there goes a purple one, I'm going to bite that one. Well, there goes a red one, I'm not biting that one. Like,
yeah, I agree. It's a reaction.
I think a lot of the color is for us, right?
But I think there's flash. Last weekend we worked our ass off on trees last weekend, and we caught small fish, we caught big fish, but the small fish came off of white and the bigger fish came off of gold. Gold was just the thing that day. Now, is it going to be the thing tomorrow? I don't know. And I'm not poo-pooing your thing, because I agree. It's a reaction deal. Whatever. Maybe there's and seriously, at 50 feet, 60 feet, there isn't a whole lot of flash down there, because there isn't a whole lot of light. So really, when it comes down to it, and I'm leaning more toward, because I used to be this whole, walleye are colorblind and they see colors different, and who really cares? Because I think it's the lateral line, right? I think it's the vibration, it's the feel that makes them attack more than color, because they can't diddly that deep.
Now that you bring that up, I would 100% agree with that, based on how the fish were reacting when we were working our baits. I would definitely say that's a thing.
Yeah.
One thing I would say about Oahe is, with the water being so clear, I think having something that looks more natural is going to better the odds.
I see what you're saying. Braeden, you go ahead and say something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of those guys, I guess. A lot of it, comes down to your cadence, like Riley said. You got to know what you're doing when you're working the bait. You just can't flip it out there and hope that a 30-inch walleye is going to bite it. You have to know what you're doing.
A lot of it is
practice, but
a lot of it is reading the fish too, like understanding how that fish is reacting when you're moving your bait, and understanding, like, hey, this is what I did wrong this time, and you can correct it on your next cast. I understand every fish is different, but once you kind of start to dial in that pattern, I think it's definitely going to help put more fish in the boat for sure.
Okay, so let's, because I'm becoming more experienced fishing the trees, and it's exciting. I mean, it's a ton of fun. But the thing that's driving me nuts, and it maybe comes down to cadence. Usually you got that big fish, and you're right here, and you're doing this, and all of a sudden, big fish is doing this, and I'm talking about coming out of 50 feet of water, following you up to 20 feet, and gone, and it's happening multiple times to me, and it's driving me nuts, because usually once that damn fish is vertical, it game on, right? Because I don't know how many times it and I'm like, no, crap, I missed it. So
yeah, I mean, that goes back to what we said earlier. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, we're catching one in every 100 fish that we're casting at. I mean, it's not like we're going out there and catching every single fish.
Right.
It's just, I mean, we definitely experienced that, where you have a lot of fish chase, and like I said, if you can pattern kind of what you were doing wrong, then you can start to pattern what you're doing right for the next fish.
Yeah, it's hard. I can deal with the whole whatever jig, and here again, your cadence 40 feet down is a hell of a lot different than when you're ice fishing on Lake Ponset or on Thompson, and you're doing this and your bait's dancing like this. But when you're up here, what's really happening down here? I mean, we can see it, but you
definitely can see it, but I don't think the live scope is truly predicting what's going on down there, because you're like you said, your depth is set at 70 to 80 feet, and for how much your jig wrap is moving is like very minimal on the screen, but in reality that could be 1, 2, 3 feet or whatever it may be. So I think there's definitely a difference from fishing the deep water, like you said, versus fishing pond set. Like it's you're not going to go to pond set and use your same cadence that you're using out on the river.
Well, and you're seeing, in jigging wrap, you're seeing when it darts 5 feet, but are you seeing it dart half a foot and roll? Like, that's what you're not seeing on a live scope.
Right. Exactly.
I think and then, so I have my ice fishing bundle. I've got Humminbird. I've got the Mega Live, but I've been using my EchoMap 93. So my ice fishing bundle, and I'm sorry, but I was wrong. I shouldn't have to apologize to myself because I'm like, what the hell difference does it make? Live's live. Who cares if it's a 32, a 34 deucer? Whatever, it's live. Well, I have now learned that if you're not fishing the 8600 series Garmin or something extremely comparable, you ain't seen crap. Now
You're a step behind the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, and so I think now the new 9000 series that Garmin has, I guess that's like 4K. So I'm glad I haven't bought the 86 because if I am going to, dive deep, what do you guys use? Are you using the Garmin, the 86, 8610, 8612, 16?
Go ahead, Brock.
I've got a 1243 XSV, which was the new model before the 86 series came out when I bought that. So I've got that 12-inch Garmin with, I actually bought a 34 transducer about mid-season this year. We were using a 32, but the 34 is just so much more clear and you can just pick up everything so much better with that 34 transducer than the 32.
I didn't realize that because here again, when you're fishing in 16 feet of water on Lake Ponset or Lake Thompson, the 32, the 34 really does not matter. But when you're fishing in 40 feet, 60 feet, 90 feet, it's a whole different ball game.
Yes,
and
it is.
And it's crazy how you look at the trees with the 34 and you've got the 8600 series. It's like looking at 1080, watching a movie in 1080, and then you go to the Echo Map and it's like 480 or 460 or whatever it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Okay, so wait, what's this question?
Are you guys using down imaging or front imaging when you're on your scope?
Forward facing.
Forward.
We have it set in forward mode. Usually we have it set at 80 feet when we're casting that fish, but if we're out like moving around trying to locate fish, we'll zoom it out to either 100 or 120 or whatever it may be, just trying to figure out like where's the next tree at. Like if you kind of get out of the trees, you can locate them quicker. And then to track down fish too, you can just see them further away. But once you get closer to the fish, we're dialing it back into 80 feet.
So are you running your transducer on your trolling motor?
It is, yes.
Yes.
So, and are you both shilling it 10 miles an hour, 10 power on your trolling motor, chasing them down, or?
I wouldn't say, I mean, not necessarily 10, but we're usually on 7 or 8, moving roughly 2 miles an hour or right around there. But I mean, there's a time and a place for that, I personally think, because I mean, when you're fishing on the trees, a lot of times these fish are sitting on the branches, and you really have to take your time to pick out like the bigger fish. Like I feel like if you're moving that fast on top of the trees, you definitely could be missing that the next bite that you could possibly have. And like I said, everybody definitely has an opinion about that, but I don't know. That's just my thought, I guess.
Well, no, it makes sense because if you've never been, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're out there screaming along 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miles an hour, and you're piling over trees, if you haven't turned your deucer and watched the trees, how they look like this, and everything,
twists and turns. Yeah,
you are missing something, right?
Right.
If you're not hunting and taking your time. Now, we were doing it super slow, and I think Louis was bumping up to 2 or 3 because my deucer was starting to move in the water a little bit. But it's amazing how you do find fish in trees. But I think when you go over them fast, you're missing fish. Even fish that are hiding behind a trunk, right, that are positioned.
You have your beam going straight forward, and there's a branch right out in front of you. I mean, that fish could be right on the back side of that branch, and you couldn't see it until you're maybe past it or right next to it, and you turn your transducer that way and you see it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, Bo fishes on 10 power. Tom Wynn fishes on 10 power. But I mean,
they got hundreds of hours of practice.
Bo learned how to live scope in the trees on Lake Oahe, right? Like, he might have a slick little setting in his graph that when he's going to fish trees, he sets some color palette that he can see them better. I don't know.
I used to be a blue guy. You know, what color do you guys do? I think red craw. I think I can't. That is just awesome. It's for my eyes. It's perfect. But what color do you guys use?
We're using. Go ahead.
We use amber. It's kind of a red. It's red, but back home here though, we don't run that color scheme.
No. I think back home, I guess if I were going to be on Ponset, if I come back to ice fish, I will go back to the blue. Because I like the blue, the yellow, and the red. I can't find anything better. But out here in deeper water, when you're moving faster, especially with a better unit, it's amazing. You know, and everybody's eyes are different. You know, you've got green and black emerald.
Black emerald.
You know,
we run black emerald back home here, especially for fishing weeds and stuff. You can really pick fish out on that black emerald.
Yeah.
But seems like out at the river that black emerald doesn't work very good in the trees, but that like you said, the red craw or the amber, it seems to really pick those fish up out there in that.
Yeah, the returns on fish are brighter.
Yeah,
and honestly, from sight, you know, I guess I feel like I can tell a 12 to a 20 inch walleye pretty simple. I mean, for the most part, you know, the bigger ones. It came to me last weekend. I finally saw what I needed to see, and you have that aha moment thing where you go, no kidding, and then all of a sudden there's another one, and it's a ton of fun.
I mean, I would agree with that. It definitely comes down to time in front of the screen to depict the size of the fish that you're casting at. I mean, it honestly, it took me probably a year or two to figure that out. Like to figure out what's the difference between a 20-incher or a 26 or 27-incher. But it all takes time.
The differences, you know, I guess the only thing I wish I could figure out is the difference between a catfish and a walleye, because now I can't differentiate.
That's one thing I think that we kind of learned this last weekend. Our last time out there, I should say, was depicting the difference. Not all of them, because we definitely caught catfish, but I think we're kind of onto something with being able to partly tell the difference. I think the catfish are more like balled up, and they give more of a return off, and they might be positioned slightly up at an angle in the water column a little bit as well. So between being a ball, angled, and a little bit more fuzzy, I would willing to bet that that's probably a catfish. Now, is that the case every time? Probably not. But I mean, that's just kind of what we slowly started to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and that's kind of what we came up with.
And who would have thought that you've got these trees and you have this mark, and you drop your jig down, and all of a sudden that thing races up and snatches it. Your pole bends, and you're like, okay. It's game on. I've got a 30-incher here. You know, it's 10-pound walleye, and you get it, and you're like, wait a minute. So it blows my mind, because here again, just like walleye, we thought catfish lived on the bottom. Mm-hmm. I mean, for the most part, had no idea they were suspended and would chase a jigging wrap.
Right.
I mean, they're not even that kind of fish, right? You know, I get it if you're you know, dangling a jig and a worm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that a catfish is going to eat a jigging wrap out in the middle of the water column?
Right. I mean,
like, you're supposed to be on the bottom eating worms and bugs off the bottom or something, not up in the trees.
They're like
down.
They go where the bait is.
Yeah,
they go where the easiest bait is to get. Right. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
They're you know. You think about that. You think you take it to a salmon. A salmon's a filter fish, right? You know, they eat microplankton and zebraplankton. Then they get big enough to eat herring and stuff like that. So they're suspended in water columns, you know, like crazy, chasing bait schools. So I think all fish are chasing bait schools. I mean, why do you catch a perch randomly? Why do you catch, you know, a drum or whatever? I mean, I've watched you catch about everything.
Sure, because I can catch trash with the best of them. So that's the other thing about live scope. Watching a fish chase a bait ball and scatter it. You know, I mean, to watch that thing, it's here, and all of a sudden you got a fish coming, and now it's morphed into this weird cloud. And my God, I think it's as much fun as catching a big fish.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that a few times.
Pretty cool to watch for sure.
Yeah, well, and I think so. Are you guys taking time to try to differentiate between minnows and Cisco and all the different because we've got different size bait balls, right? You can tell the Cisco. What am I trying to say? We don't call them Cisco. No,
or herring.
Well, yeah,
Herring.
you get herring and so minnows, smelt, gizzard, shad, and herring. I think gizzard, shad, and herring are those bigger clouds of bait, and then and maybe even smelt. I'm still trying to figure that out. Have you kind of?
I haven't spent enough time out there to figure that out. I mean, you can definitely tell the size of the bait when they're schooled up. Like these are definitely bigger bait, and this is like tiny minnow style bait. But
well, you got to remember, so gizzard, shad are a warm water fish, so they're generally not going to be deep in that thermocline. They're going to be a warm water fish. So they're going to be suspended. They're going to be
over deep water.
It could be.
I don't know.
They're going to be in the warmer water. When you see the bait ripple every once in a while on top of the water, that's going to be gizzard shad.
Oh, okay.
A herring and a Cisco or a smelt and a Cisco are going to follow the thermocline water temp.
So
you're seeing Cisco.
It's the smallmouth that are chasing the gizzard shad when we got that top water bite.
Yeah.
So that okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense to me.
So gizzard shad's a warm water prey fish, and so they don't winter. They don't like cold water at all. So
okay.
They're not gonna. I mean, not saying they're not some down there, but they're gonna be more your higher water column bait, your shallow water bait fish. So
Braeden, how about you? Because I just want you to be part of the conversation.
Yep.
What are you using for rods, and what do you got for line and leader when you're ripping?
So I use a 12-pound Suffix braid, and then usually run about a 12-inch fluorocarbon leader on her.
Only 12?
Yes. Yep.
Really?
And between the fluoro and the braid, I run a barrel swivel.
Okay.
And then I just use one of those VMC crankbait snaps to hook the jig wrap on. So, and then my rod that I use is a 6'9", usually like a medium or a medium light fast, something like that. So I feel like the longer rod for jig wrapping, you get windy and the line gets tangled up on the end of your rod. So something shorter to eliminate that is the better thing to go with. So,
fellas, what are you guys using?
I'm the same exact thing. 6'9" medium, 12 or 14 pound braid down to a barrel swivel, and then 12 to 16 ounce or 12 to 16 inch fluorocarbon leader, usually 12 or 14 pound to a VMC crank snap.
Yep. Okay. Brock?
I run a 7-foot Shields medium fast with 10-pound braid or 12-pound braid, and then 12 or 14-pound fluorocarbon leader.
Okay.
But I don't put a swivel in mine. I do a direct tie.
You don't do the FG, do you?
Oh my God!
I don't have time for the damn FG. Just double uni, boom, done.
Yeah, that's it. Double uni.
The FG knot just needs to blow up. I've heard more about the FG knot this summer than
it's because it's been out there more and more. There are more guys trying to tell you how to tie it, and it's a waste. It's a total waste because, like Kyle Peterson said, the dang thing doesn't work unless you put the little knot on the end so it won't slip through. Well, what's the point of spending a half an hour tying the FG knot when you can do a double uni in 30 seconds in your back 15, right?
I would say it takes a little longer than 30 seconds, but
I did learn a quicker way to tie it though this weekend because I broke off a few times. Like, okay, I got to get this figured out.
So have you guys tried the new Sunline All Might, the weighted braid?
We have not yet. No.
So that's supposed to take all your wind twist out. I just got some.
Did you? I tried some a couple weekends ago.
And
I think Bible and I both decided it wasn't that great.
I haven't tried it yet.
I'm curious to see what you got to say. Yeah. Here again, it's another spool of expensive line.
Maybe we'll have to give it a try and see how it is. I don't know. I haven't run into any issues using the Suffix 832 braid.
Yeah, honestly, I went to 20 pound because
probably personal preference. I mean, it's going to be the same. I mean, is there going to be a difference between catching more fish or less fish? I don't know. And is anybody going to be able to ever figure that out? Probably not. So that's why I'm saying it's probably just a personal preference.
Yeah, right. And I think it comes down to that. Brock, what were you going to say?
The only problem with the braid is if you forget to check your line after you get it in the trolling motor.
You might lose a big fish.
You might lose a big one.
Yeah, you might lose a big one.
There must be
little
a story
experience with
behind
that.
this, huh?
Oh yeah.
Bring it on. Let's see. Yeah. So what happened there?
Day one, we were jig wrapping for the slot fish in the trees, and we had took off, and I got the line wrapped up in the trolling motor, and I was able to unwind it and get it out. But next day, first fish before the 14 pounder, hooked into it, and it broke off about 10 foot down from the end of my rod.
No.
Oh,
No.
Oh yeah.
That kind of goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, when something like that happens, it's you're gonna get mad, you're gonna get frustrated, but it's just keeping your head into it.
It was a
staying
catfish.
focused. Yeah, it was a catfish.
Yeah. I don't think that.
That's actually one thing nice too, because we lost several fish that were coming up, and you'd see them on the live scope. They're 10, 15 feet down, and they're good fish. And you'd get your line back up, and it's just all slimy. It's
Covered
like, okay,
in
thank
slime.
God that's a catfish. Like that's not a walleye. Like your heart attack can go away now.
so are you all three on the front of the boat, or how you doing this?
Yeah.
We're usually all up in the front, so
Really?
probably not the most
Yeah,
ideal way to go, but
It's probably not the ideal way to go, but I think us three have definitely the communication game down, and we just kind of know who's tossing at what fish. We have our spots in the boat. I'm usually in the middle. Brock's on my right, and Braden's on my left, and we kind of call out to each other who's casting at what fish depending on where we see it. So, I mean, if you're having three guys casting out at one time, it's something's going to go wrong. You're going to get tangled up. I mean, these fish don't like seeing three baits or two baits falling on them at one time. So it's one person at a time. It kind of sucks because two people are getting left out, but that first person might not make the best cast right away. So you got one or two people to back them up with.
And you're better off catching the fish than you are spooking it and having it gone.
Right.
exactly.
And so the paradigm has shifted in fishing too, especially with live sonar. You leave fish to find fish. I mean, you're right. You have to, because how many times have you sat on trees that that these aren't the right fish, and you got to move on.
That's going to happen all the time. And I think it's more so understanding that, like, hey, these fish here are not going. We got to get out of here. And I mean, we definitely ran into that this year. I would say Thompson was one of those lakes. We spent some time in an area where we knew there was fish and we knew they were walleyes, but getting them to bite just wasn't happening. So we were like, well, we just need to get out of here and just try to go find something else because these fish here are not going. So.
Well, and that's the thing. They're not going either. So you knew where they were. So if you had to come back, you could.
Yeah. It could have been a timing thing or whatever it may be, or the sun gets a little further down, or who knows. They're walleyes, stubborn.
Yeah. But it's amazing how much time you can waste because it's so easy to sit there and watch fish follow your bait, right? And go, well, we got to stay till we get them. Well, it's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's just out of there and move on.
And then I think the one thing that kind of contradicts that is these fish are fired up, so to speak. They're chasing. It's only a matter of time before one bites. So at the same time, I feel like you're just battling that thought in your head of, well, if we stay here 5 more minutes, maybe we could get a 10 or a 12 pounder. But maybe if we leave now and we get down to our secondary spot, there's a 10 or a 12 pounder waiting for us down there. I just think it's a mental head game that you're playing a lot of times.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. So, we're using nines, right? Because everybody's using nines. That's what you do. And we were just having a tough time. I went down to 7. Hell, I went down to 5 it took longer to get down to where I needed to get. But by God, they did not care. I don't think size had anything to do with it. They still chased it around, came back and looked, left, came back. But
Was that the bigger fish or the smaller fish doing that?
It was a smaller fish. I knew they were smaller fish, but I was trying to catch one.
We had that same exact thing going on day 2. We had 3 fish in the live well until like 2 or 2:30, and we had went down to these trees that were holding decent slots. They weren't great slots, but they were good enough for what we needed. And these fish would sit there and like dance around the jigging wrap. It's like, ooh, a jigging wrap. I'm just gonna sit. It's a circus here. Like, this is a game. We're gonna see how far we can chase this thing around. And they had no business biting. They just sat there and just chased it around. It was, I don't know, it was really weird.
The only way we got those fish to bite was to just let that jig wrap free fall past them, and they would like chase it down and bite it as it was falling. If you tried to like rip it or anything, they wouldn't do nothing.
Yeah, Steve, I think there are millions of dollars worth of jigging wraps on the trees. I wish I could scuba dive because I'd never have to buy another jig wrap.
That's a good question. How many jigging wraps did we lose? We honestly did not lose a whole lot. One, because like I said before, we were taking turns throwing at these fish, and we were keeping the live scope on them. So it wasn't like the live scope was trying to chase around three baits falling. Like, there's only one person going down at a time, so we knew where that jigging wrap was. And we just weren't fishing fish that were super deep into the trees. I mean, even if you do get them to bite, the odds of getting them out of those thicker trees, it's just going to be tough. So we were focusing more on those fish that were on the treetops.
But
Yeah,
you
and
probably did lose.
you lost one because of a trolling motor, Nick, too. Don't forget that one.
Oops.
Yeah.
We probably lost, I don't know, 12 to 14 jig wraps throughout the 3 days. So it wasn't terrible, but not ideal either.
We knew guys that lost half their tackle box. We'll just put it that way. That was not us.
Well, but
if they're watching, they know who they are.
They know who they are.
Well, yeah.
Well, if those guys are watching, you got to be a little bit smarter, right? I mean, you do have to be aware of where you're dropping that doggone thing, because it doesn't take much, and you are snagged up and you're screwed.
Is that one of them?
Oops.
Nope.
Lubers?
No, it wasn't lubers.
It wasn't. Okay.
Whoever, who it was, they must have a really good job to afford that many jigging wraps, because those things are expensive, or they're sponsored by Rapala or something. I don't know, but if I lost that many jigging wraps in one day, I definitely would do something a little different on day 2.
Have to go somewhere.
So there was one guy at weigh-in. I don't know who he was, and I'm not trying to pick on him, but he was pissed because he's like, we're a damn Eastern South Dakota Glacial Lakes Walleye Club. What the hell are we doing out here on this big river reservoir? And like, dude, you got boys catching big fish out here, and they're doing just fine. So I don't know who that guy was, but I think that was just his excuse because he couldn't catch anything. I think he weighed one fish day 2.
I would agree with that. The guys that struggled probably definitely did not want to be out there. I mean, regardless on how we did, we were comfortable being out there, and we liked fishing out there. So even if we would have finished middle of the pack, or even heck, if we would have got last place, we still would have had a good time fishing out there.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Who doesn't want the chance to catch a 12, 14 pound walleye? I mean, it's a fish of a lifetime. So just a treat to be out there, if you ask me. But
yeah, and it was. I guess he was pissed. He was upset. I'm like, dude, you got a chance to do something out here. And I guess it's not their program. Maybe he doesn't live scope. If he's not live scoping, then yeah, I get it. You can pull bouncers on this lake, and you can do cranks and catch fish. You're not going to win a tournament doing it unless you get super, super lucky.
Right.
So I don't know. Ton of fun though, man.
Boys, we're taking up about an hour of your time. Congratulations on the win. Hope to see you on the river again here very soon. Like AKA The
Oh,
fall
yeah.
brawl.
Yeah, like I said, we're still talking about it. I mean, I think we're right in the middle of what we're gonna do because, like I said, we have the awards banquet the weekend before, so we wouldn't get a whole lot of time to pre-fish.
I mean,
so,
what do you got to go there for? Come on. I mean, it's like you won the championship.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I joked with them on the way home from the championship. I was like, I know that they're gonna ask if we're gonna fish that, so we better be prepared.
You never
Yep.
know. You might see us out there.
Time.
There's probably a better chance than not that you'll see us out there.
Hey, you know where the big ones are, and you can if you can make the run from Spring Creek, go for it.
I don't think so.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Nobody's tank of gas is gonna get that far. We'll put it that way.
Well, Chase Parsons used to run from Mobridge to Peoria Flats.
Yeah,
He'd have to fill up on the way back, but he did it.
And I
Yeah, but you can't do this in this tournament, can you?
There's no boundaries. One tank of gas.
No, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
one tank of gas. You can't fill up with gas though, can you?
no.
because
Right,
you'd have to go to Indian Creek. That's the only other gas on the water is Spring Creek and Indian Creek and Mobridge. So you'd have to go all the way to Mobridge, fill up, and come back. But I can tell you can make 212 no problem.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think you need to. You guys know how to scope. I don't think you have to make that big long trip. I believe there are some really nice walleye down in the area. Now maybe they moved a little bit, but
I would agree. I just think that the bait is a little bit different down south, and it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold as many big fish as what.
right, it's going to be harder.
I definitely agree with you. I definitely think that there's big fish in that whole system, no matter where you're at.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, congratulations, guys! Way
Yeah.
to put up a banger event. Congrats on your first W.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. That's off to you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for spending time with us. Appreciate it.
Yep.
thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.